there, stranded. I know you're tired, but if you're willing, we can do great things. We can do heroin. We can fuck pig women. Are you ready? Well, then let's fuck. And hard, this movie. It's fucking garbage, and we want you to hear about it. Of course we're talking about The Island of Dr. Moreau. Today's the day. It's horror movie night.
For new listeners, Matt can't
Moreau. It's Moreau.
Moreau.
It's Moreau.
He's going to drift in and out of correct pronunciation. He told me beforehand he has to focus really hard to get it right, which it just boggles my mind because I don't know.
Because it's such a common name.
We're going to be spending most of this week talking about Dr. Marvin Monroe from The Simpsons.
All right, so Island of Dr. Monroe. Jesus Christ. I hate you
right
already.
Off the bat, Matt.
I hate
away.
you so much, Adam, for picking this up. I have like 3 notes for this movie. Fuck this movie.
Everyone should know that I don't have any notes for this movie because for some inexplicable reason, the DVDs are way too expensive.
Yeah, they're like $25 a DVD.
Well, online streaming is expensive too. But Netflix and I believe Hulu both have Lost Souls, which is the mini doc. It's like an hour-long documentary about. Actually, I think it might be a full-length doc. It's an hour and a half of all the crazy shit that happened.
Definitely full-length. It's for sure full-length.
Yeah, and it was great. So I watched that, and I know we're going to talk about both, but I'm going to have to sit out the movie plot jokes because I didn't rewatch. I watched this movie in like 97 when it came out, 96 or 97. When it first was on video, I remember watching it and being like, man, this is awful. It's hot garbage.
That's okay, Scott. Here you go. You ready?
Yeah.
This guy gets to the island and everyone does cocaine. That's the plot of the movie. There you go.
No, that's the plot of Lost Souls. I swear to God, that's what happens in the fucking in real life.
Yeah, this movie, the story of making this movie is way more fascinating than anything that actually happens in this movie.
It explains so much because, I mean, if you didn't hate Marlin Brando before, you hate him after.
Well, what's funny, though, is that I've listened to interviews with the director on, like, other podcasts, and he says the one thing that he doesn't like about that documentary is that it really depicts Brando in a negative light. And he feels like, he's like, here's the thing that I learned about Brando, is that his philosophy was he would make a really absurd request, and if people followed through on the request, that let him know how little they actually cared about that movie, and then was like, well, then if they're not going to give a shit, I'm not going to give a shit. But
right,
like,
yeah, they talk about that in Lost Souls, but there's no honor in that. That's total bullshit. Like somebody made a comment about, like, I think it was the guy that played the smart cat man or something like that. I don't quite remember.
Yeah.
He had a thick accent. But yeah, he's talking about how Brando would say, "Oh, I have this ridiculous suggestion," and people would be like, "Yeah, sure, whatever," because they're too cowed by the fact that it's Marlon fucking Brando to say no.
Yeah.
Because also the realization was that Stanley got kicked off. Richard Stanley got kicked off as writer and director because he couldn't get shit done, and then they had somebody else who was going to play Kilmer's part or somebody with Kilmer, and that guy cost too much with Kilmer because Kilmer was at the height of his fame, which I actually can't remember that. You know the Mandela effect where people talk about Berenstain Bears versus like the current version of Berenstain Bears? They say that there's like parallel universes where it was spelled differently.
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't live through Val Kilmer being famous. Like
Val Kilmer being famous literally extended to Batman Forever and nowhere else.
Well, no, he did like The Ghost in the Darkness, and he did a shit ton of movies in like 1994 and 5. But I never thought that he was good. I always thought that he was a hack. He's terrible. He's an awful actor. I don't know.
Yeah, and you are vilified. You are definitely proven right with this movie.
Yeah, because he's fucking terrible.
Yeah, but the thing is that I can't imagine a time where Val Kilmer could have pushed the studio to get rid of the writer-director who basically was going to make this happen. He had a vision. Richard Stanley. Michael Stanley is in Kiss. Richard Stanley had this vision for this movie, and hell knows if it would actually have been good or not. But I mean, it would have been worth at least trying. And they kicked him off because they said that he couldn't wrangle people, but it's because Val Kilmer was like, I won't do what you want. So Val Kilmer got his way. And then they're like, let's spend twice as much on this movie by getting Brando involved. And so it ballooned out, and it was just a whole big mess. But I can't understand why they thought this is just a great example of studios meddling in something that could have been good and just making it awful.
Well, did you I can't remember if this is in the documentary or because he was recently on a WTF with Mark Maron, but Hellboy, who plays
Guillermo del Toro.
No,
or Ron Perlman.
Ron Perlman was on WTF, and he was telling a story about making the island, and he
wait, he was an island of Dr. Moreau because he's not in the documentary.
Yeah, he's the blind seer. He's like the goat man.
The
sayer.
The sayer of the law.
Yeah. So he said that they shot this one scene for 3 days, and Brando's just bumping into him and blah, blah, blah. He's like, he keeps bumping into me, and it's just this nightmare. And all of a sudden, he looks at me and sees my contacts and just goes, "Hold on a second, are you blind?" And I said, "Yeah, the character's blind." And he goes, "Oh, Jesus, I've been doing this all wrong." He goes, "Did you not read the script?" He's like, "Did you not read the script?"
No,
and he's like,
Brando did not read the script.
He's like, "Of course I didn't read the script."
Brando told everybody he didn't read the fucking script. He sucked. Man, why? Why even have him involved in this picture? I was just going to say they made a good point that him having that really famous midget who was really perverted apparently in real life.
The smallest man in the world. He was the smallest man in the world at the time.
And so he apparently Brando was just I don't fucking care about anything, but if we have a gimmick, it'll still make its money back. The gimmick was having the midget or the smallest man in the world dress and act exactly like him. He's like, "Oh, this guy."
How many midgets do you think got work in this movie?
Not as much as the Ewoks in Return of the Jedi. Well, okay, so somebody made the joke about how Brando being so ridiculous in this movie and having the small man next to him dressed up in all the same outfits and doing the exact same shit is lampooned at Mini-Me in Austin Powers, and it was just such an aha moment. My life came together in this shining example of Hollywood bullshit.
Yeah, they even recreate the one piano scene with them playing "What If God Was One of Us" in the second Austin Powers movie, because there's definitely a scene.
Right.
There's definitely a scene where he's playing piano and the little guy's on top of the piano with the tinier piano.
Yeah, because that does happen in the movie.
A shot for shot.
Who would have thought that serious discussion would come out of Austin Powers 2?
Yeah. So the only note that I have that we haven't already talked about, because the other ones are just man, Val Kilmer sucks, and I like this weird little guy that follows Brando around. It says, the movie begins with 3 guys brawling on a raft, and I'm afraid I may have put in Jack Frost too.
It's a couple of dudes fighting over a carrot.
Yeah, man, this movie... The worst thing is that, I paid for this movie. I found... Scott couldn't find a cheap copy because I nabbed the only cheap one on Amazon that was $4. Which is still
okay, so Matt is so I am looking everywhere. It's $4 to rent this pile of shit. Or no, $7 to rent this thing on Amazon. And I'm like, no way. I'm absolutely not spending $7 to watch this once, much less $5. And so I'm like, fuck, okay, well, maybe there's one on eBay or Amazon. The ones on eBay, a DVD is going for $10. I'm not going to spend $10 on anything on eBay. I wouldn't even buy a guitar for $10.
No. Scott, you need to understand. Like, there's a reason that it's priced so high because this is like. This is extraordinary. Like, you watched Marlon Brando for the last time in his life, right? Just die inside. Like, it's really important. It's an important movie.
But the thing is that I feel like, okay, they made the DVDs in like 98, 99, 2000, whatever, when they were just putting everything on DVD, even if it was like 5 years, 10 years old. So there should be an adequate amount of DVDs. It's not like me trying to find a VHS copy of Tourist Trap before it was released on Blu-ray. I mean, it's not. It's just a weird thing. Like, there's no reason for it to be inflated like that. So anyway, I didn't buy it. I wasn't about to. Matt got the last. He literally got the last one off of eBay for $3, and that was like. Honestly, my high end. I was like, listen, if I'm gonna spend $3 to buy it and like $4 to ship it, I'm at $7 tapped out. I went to like the local used DVD place. They were selling one for $9. I'm like, this is a piece of shit, beat up DVD of Island of Dr. Moreau. Yeah.
So
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna suffer through it for Adam of all people.
So here's my theory on that. Here's my theory on that, because the Lost Souls documentary, while it's not like wildly popular, definitely got some notoriety, and I think just a bunch of jackasses decided that they were going to sell their copies for inflated prices, and then like it's weird because eBay 100% controls the way that any other place sells stuff, because most used stores will check eBay for a rough idea of what something is worth. So they see a bunch of jackasses selling it for like $10 to $12, they're going to be like, oh, I guess that's what it's worth. And then they slap this $10 to $12 thing on there. But I guarantee that like 2 years ago when the Lost Souls documentary didn't exist and there was no interest in this movie, that shit was a penny. Like, that shit.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I guarantee. Yeah.
So that is unfortunate. But yeah, so I watched this twice to try to have any notes. And every time I watched it, I was just like, start looking at my phone. So like I was like, this is so hard to watch. And it's only like an hour and 25 minutes. It's not even a long movie. But it is just forever. Like, I feel so bad for whatever Patreon donor's getting my copy of this in the mail, because I'm not keeping it. Like, I'm not ever going to watch this movie. Spoiler alert to one of the $25 donators. You're getting that in the mail.
Like,
listen. It's a bad movie. All right, it's got a lot.
So Adam, you do this, right? You pick shit, and then Matt has to buy a DVD copy of it, and then we're trickling down the bullshit. It's diarrhea all the way down to the people that are spending money. Our patrons are giving us money to take this garbage off of Matt's hands.
No. Okay, you are upset, but this is.
I didn't even watch it. I'm upset.
No. This is one of the least offensive fucking movies that I've picked thus far.
Oh no,
like,
it is
Hungarian film over here.
No, I would rather rewatch this, I guess, than Taxidermia, but that's not saying a lot.
This is a movie that was made by people who were trying their best to make a competent movie.
I was about to say, like, Taxidermia is bad and kind of inscrutable, but it's still like visually entertaining and really like the acting is good, I guess. But like, no, there's nothing redeeming about this movie from what I remember.
Fuck off, Scott. Fuck off. This movie has a million different redeeming qualities. Like, this is not just straight garbage. This is not Jack Frost 2.
Okay. Which was your last pick. I just want to point out, your last picks have been awful. And these are the last two picks after Matt and I said that we have to moderate the fucking garbage that you decide on. I don't know why we let you.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to make myself sound good over here.
I was going to say, I can't tell if you're being serious or playing a character right now, because you're sounding a lot like Cannon again.
I feel like Cannon became a character when he picked Frankenstein. He picked Frankenstein's Army, right?
Yeah, to fuck with us. And
but
we
it was
loved
so good. It totally backfired. That movie was awesome.
Cannon, if you're listening, please send us an email. I won't even look into what movie you pick. Whatever you pick, Cannon, we're gonna watch.
Because we will have you on the show. We will make it our life's goal to get you on the show. Seriously, people don't understand.
Yeah.
They just don't understand how amazing Cannon is. But the thing is that we're hyping up Cannon, and you know what he's going to do? Is he's going to just fucking come on and be like, hey, what's up, guys? And be normal. He's not going to be like Reddit Horror Club Cannon.
We've been having a little bit of Skype issues. It seems like Adam has dropped a little bit. He's still connected to the call, and he's messaging us. So there might be a point where we just start reading what he's telling us. I'm going to make the assumption that Adam picked this movie because of Lost Souls, and strictly because of Lost Souls. I can't imagine this was like a movie that he had sitting in his DVD collection, just waiting for him to get a chance to discuss it, because I was so excited about the other 2 movie ideas that he had, and and then he made this decision. He just messaged entirely because of Lost Souls. I mean, there's nothing to discuss. Like, and I'm not saying that in like the negative way, but like this movie's so batshit and so wacky that like it's more interesting to discuss Lost Souls. It's more interesting to discuss what was going on behind the scenes, because it's just so boring. It's so like speaking of so long and boring, I rewatched Monkey Shines this weekend, and it's like.
Adam, I feel like Adam is just fuming somewhere in Canada right now because he rewatched Monkey Shines. I loved Monkey Shines.
I know you do, and the whole time I've rewatched it with commentary from Romero. I almost said Romero because I can't say anything today. The Island of Dr. Morano. Okay, so he wants to make sure that we bring up the fact that Val Kilmer is fucking pig ladies in this movie.
There's so much pig fucking in this movie, apparently.
Yes, it's like an episode of South Park. And South Park, yet another thing that parodies this movie, because there's definitely the Gene Splicer who super intentionally looks like Brando and carries around a short yellow character that doesn't speak, that dresses exactly like him. All right, so I think we've lost Adam, but he didn't get primaled this time. I want listeners to understand this was not a primaling. This was a total Skype issue.
We got 20 minutes of gold out of there.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
it was the, it's the tundra of the Great White North is what I think did it.
It's October.
Yeah, so we're going to do the what did we watch this week, just between Scott and I.
This is going to be a weird what did we watch, because I have a bunch of stuff. And a lot of it, I'm going to use a couple of things for next week, which is a lie that I'd watch them next week. I watched them this week because I just went ape shit on Shudder. So I was looking for something. Next week's episode, I did not have a copy of, and I couldn't find it on Hulu or Netflix. So I was looking on Amazon, and it was like free with a Shudder subscription. And I was like, oh, sweet. I'll just watch Shudder stuff for 7 days and then cancel my subscription. So I watched next week's episode. I watched a couple other things, and I started adding stuff to my watch list, and it grew and grew and grew over 2 days, 48 hours of me being on Shudder, and I'm just like enamored with the service. So the idea that I was just going to watch a bunch of shit for 7 days and then cancel my subscription is now I'm just keeping the subscription because it's awesome. It's $5 a month, and it's called quote unquote curated horror, but there's so much stuff, so much obscure stuff that one I'd either never seen, stuff I'd never even heard of, or stuff that I've watched and don't have a DVD copy of, and I'm like, oh yeah, I could watch that, and I can just basically pad out my what did we watch for like 3 months because I'm just gonna go crazy now that October's underway and it's like 'tis the season. I'm trying to get Megan to watch horror movies with me this month. I know I mentioned that to you and Adam. Haven't mentioned that to the listeners, I don't think. But Megan, as everyone knows, likes Halloween and spooky stuff, but she just does not like being scared. So, asshole husband boyfriend at the very beginning, we'd watch scary stuff, and then I'd scamper away and like hide in the dark and breathe heavy or jump out at her, and she's like, you know what? You've lost your privileges. We can't watch horror movies together. I'm like, shit, I really should have done that. So she wants to watch.
At the time, you're like, whatever. It's not like I'm going to marry you.
No, I knew from like a month in. I was like, this is the one.
I have to like not fuck this up.
And then you proceeded to fuck it up as much as possible, all the time.
I'm only human. This is the best I can do for you.
The best I can do for you, my dear.
I definitely Touloned her early on. I think we were 6 months in, and I was like trying to drop leeches in her mouth. So Shudder is amazing. I know people on like our horror were saying it's great, but it's really, really great. It's got a lot of obscure shit. And for someone like me who doesn't actually want to buy DVDs, because I don't have a DVD player connected, like we just use Netflix and Hulu through the Apple TV. I mean, and then I'll have like Shudder on my Amazon through my computer because I mostly watch stuff on my computer. So anyway, Shudder's awesome. And I watched next week's pick and this week's What Did We Watch, which was Excision, which is another movie from early Reddit Horror Club that I lied about watching and enjoying. So that's the reason I wanted to mention it now. Very convoluted explanation here, but Excision is really charming in a really fucked up way. I love how they uglied up a really beautiful model to play the main character. Like, you don't like her. You don't trust her. It's like watching another Adam pick. We Need to Talk About Kevin from years and years ago. That I mean, you know something bad's going to happen the whole time. And she's not likable. She's not, you don't feel any sort of connection to her. I love how many like B-level actors and actresses are in it. Like Tracy Lords is the mom.
It's kind of like it's weirdly has, it has a very like John Walters-y feel with its casting.
John Waters.
Yeah.
Well,
like,
John Waters is the priest.
Yeah, but like the casting in general just feels like a John Waters movie.
Yeah, Excision in Abigail Winters, you know, the girl with the glasses and long dark hair from Modern Family, she's in it. I want to say that there are other people that are in it that I'm just forgetting, and I just watched it a week ago. But yeah, it's a really good movie. I feel like the end is appropriately dark, but it also kind of, I mean, I know it was coming. I knew it was coming. I just feel like it kind of takes it from a horror comedy to just a straight horror movie. And I get that's the point, but I feel I've never been a fan of black comedy. I like horror comedy better. You know, like I don't find entertainment and humor in a black comedy because most of the time it's just like, ooh, that's really cringy and dark. I don't like that. So I feel like the end of the movie was just, it kind of veered off of the earlier horror comedy tone and into like just a straight black comedy, which is my only gripe with it, but it's a really great film. So yeah, Shudder, awesome. And pretty much everything I'm going to be talking about on What Did We Watch for the foreseeable future is going to be from Shudder.
So for my What Did I Watch this week, my brother came down this weekend for my cousin's wedding, and he brought with him a full binder of over 2,000 movie titles that he printed off the internet of cult films, horror films, gangster films, and the 100 or the 10,000 movies that you should watch before you die. He's like, my goal is to get through this entire binder before I die. So I went through the list and was like, oh, I own some of these movies, and we got to watch next week's pick because it was on the cult list, and we also watched.
Wait, that's a movie you should watch before you die? Who says so?
It's one of the 100 cult films you should watch before you die. And then
I disagree, and we'll talk about that in 7 days.
And we watched Reanimator because he had never seen that, and that was also on the cult list films that you should watch before you die. And I always forget how much I like that movie. That movie is so fun, and it moves at such a quick pace. I actually watched it with my mom, which was weird. She was like sitting downstairs watching it with us. That's a weird movie to watch with your mom.
Yeah, the head scene.
Oh yeah,
you watch it with your mom. Oh my! You know, I shouldn't be surprised. Your parents let you watch Toxic Avenger when you were 6.
Well, they didn't let me. I ventured off and did it myself. But still, I get what you're trying to say. So I watched that. The movie's still great. There's nothing really new to say. And I did finish the first season of American Horror Story. I enjoyed it. I listened to my predictions last week while I was editing the episode, and I was not even remotely close. It definitely is a as you said, it is a soap opera. It is just a soap opera horror film. I had fun with it. I'm going to eventually watch season 2, but I requested of my friend Steph, since that show is so heavy and fairly dramatic and depressing, that we cut it with something funny. So I found out that she had never seen 30 Rock, so now I'm rewatching the first season of 30 Rock, and we're just going to keep bouncing back and forth between, 12 episodes of American Horror Story, season of 30 Rock. Another season of American Horror Story, 30 Rock. I think that will be the best way to get through American Horror Story and to still enjoy the shit out of 30 Rock, because that show is
I was about to say, I wish
perfection.
I lived closer to you, because I would totally be down for 30 Rock rewatch. I mean, Megan and I would both be down for a rewatch of 30 Rock. I mean, it's just so good.
It's perfect. And the more that I watch it, the more I love Alec Baldwin's character.
Yeah.
He has the one line where she's like, "Why are you wearing a tuxedo?" It's after 6, Lemon. I'm not a farmer.
That's great. So you're talking about American Horror Story, and I've voiced my disgust with that series multiple times. I gave the first 3 seasons a go, and I think I made it 4 episodes before I was just like, fuck this, and just walked away from it. And then when a new season started, I'd give it a chance, and it just sucked. I mean, I would wait, and so I'd binge 2 episodes a night for a week or something like that. And I'm just like, oh, terrible. The Asylum one really, really pissed me off, because it was just they're throwing shit at a screen. They're just throwing shit at the screen, being like, I hope something sticks. And I just don't understand people that love it. I know that I've crapped on people that like The Strain or whatever, but this is so much more confusing, because at least The Strain is bad good. You're watching it because you're like, oh, this is just such a piece of crap, and you're just watching it for sheer popcorn effect. American Horror Story takes itself so seriously, but then it's got a million plot lines, and none of them intersect. And it's just just stick with one thing. That's why all of your predictions were wrong, is because they don't even know what they're doing on the show. So to compare against that, Scream Season 2 started up this week. I love Scream Queens. Actually, I can get Megan to watch that with me. I thought that Season 1 was phenomenal. It's the same guy who does AHS, I believe. Matt Turner, I think that's his name. In any case, somebody will come in here and totally flame on me for making fun of American Horror Story, and then also tell me that I got his name wrong. But Scream Queens is so funny. Season 2 is so much funnier than Season 1 already. And it's basically, it does everything right that American Horror Story does wrong. It's the exact mirror opposite of it, and it's the same producer, I believe. So so super good. Just such a hilarious show, and I'm really looking forward to where they're taking this season, because the first season the antagonist costume was the Red Devil, and this season it's the Green Devil, which is just, it makes me laugh, because you've got recurring characters, and they're just living in this world where all different colors of devils are coming to kill them. So anyway, I wasn't going to bring that up this week, but since you are watching American Horror Story, I'll mention a better show.
All right, that was Island of Dr. Moreau from 1996, picked by Adam because of a documentary that he saw a couple years ago that he didn't remember too much about. We will be discussing my pick next week, and as you can tell, Scott loved it.
I don't love it. I have things to say about it. Tons of notes.
Yeah, no, I have a page and a half of notes for that one. I'm excited. So we got that coming up, and then we still have the Patreon going. Patreon.com /HMN podcast, I believe, is the URL. And it's been doing really well, guys. Thank you so much for all your donations. Tell people about it. Tell people about the podcast. I love that for whatever reason on Facebook, we've been just getting people requesting to be added.
Joins. We're getting a join a day. It's fantastic. I mean, I know some bigger group would be like, oh, whatever, that's lame. But
yeah, we have no advertising.
Really,
we do nothing.
Yeah, we have no advertising budget yet. We promise we won't blow your Patreon money on doing lines off of hookers' asses and then coming up with great ideas for videos.
More car chases. So no, I mean, right now it's already looking like with the money that we have, I think if nothing else, a set of Matt Kelly seal of approval stickers is definitely in the future.
That's happening. No question, that's happening.
And at least a T-shirt with the Hard Movie Night logo are definitely going to be happening. So get ready for that. The people who are putting in for the $25 packages, I plan to send the first package out first thing in 2017 because I want to get the shirts printed and ready for you guys by then. And
also going to be swag. We're just stockpiling horror merch for everybody. I mean, I know that I will post every once in a while on the group with stuff that I find, but I'm not sharing like all of it because I want there to be some surprises. And Matt and Adam are both just we always have our eyes peeled for horror memorabilia for you, and we have tons of swag ideas that we're gonna have ready by the first of the year. So actually, probably the people that are signing up now for that tier are going to get way more swag than they believe that they are going to get because we're going to have tons of stuff that we're going to be doing short runs of. And so when we're super famous, it's going to be worth way more than what you're putting in. Promise.
And
swear.
I'm already talking to a couple conventions, and there's even a possibility we have to figure out what the finances would be for it, but there is a good chance that the general Philadelphia area might get a live episode in 2017 if all things work out, and it's going to be pretty cool because it's going to be at a very historic theater, which makes me even more excited. So we will talk about more of that when we know more information. But in the meantime, thanks for listening. We'll be back next week. Enjoy not watching this movie, but go check out Lost Souls, the documentary, because that's really great.
I don't know where my fucking Flavor of Love book went. I have no idea where that is.
Wait, so have you not even been watching the episodes? You've just been reading about
watching
them?
It, but I've been writing it down in a notebook, and I'm not sure where that notebook is.
I thought you meant you bought, like, the complete Flavor of Love episode guide, and you would just read about the episode and be like, oh, I remember this one. Yeah, I can talk about this.
What is this, fucking 1990? You think I have like a 1990 Nintendo guide to Flavor of Love where it just tells you how to walk through it or something?
Nintendo Power, but it's more like anti-herpes power.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.